All right. I'm ready to quit. I think what I experienced today, no human should go through. No person who plays video games should ever have to experience this. I've experienced more frustration today than I probably have all of last month, and that's saying a lot. I really think that this current set is designed in a way that is extremely casino-like, which is really fun for casual players and not fun for competitive players. And when I say casino-like, what I mean is there are so many opportunities for the game to wildly swing in a direction with things that are outside of your control. I think better players will, in general, maneuver around more efficiently, and over the course of 25 games, they will have a better average placement. But I think that in an individual game, the variance is so high that it doesn't feel fun to me. As someone who wants to win by edging out better efficiency and better decisions than my opponents and slowly grind out leads, this set is not it. I talked about this a lot before. I'm sure if you watch my stream, you hear me talk about it all the time. I always praise Set6 and its design. In Set 6, not only were there fun units that like new players can look forward to, like a lot of friends that I knew that casually played TFT just only played Yordles every game, right? They're bronze, they're silver, they're gold, and they have a wonderful time playing TFT, forcing Yordles only. It's just a fun trait. It's fun trait, easy to play, and it's visually exciting. And then the competitive players have a lot of fun too, because there are so many creative ways to play the end game. I remember feeling like if I rolled down with 80 gold and I was better than my opponents, I would always have a stronger board. There wasn't any, oh, I hit or oh, I didn't hit. It was, you will find something. Because if you roll 80 gold, you are not looking for specifically Jin 2. You are looking for one of Jin 2, Ori 2, Yone 2, Fiora 2, Jace 2, Kha'Zix 2. There was so many carries, Urgot 2. There was so many ways to play the game that you could pivot to whatever you wanted. And what's great is the augments usually allowed you to do so. Right? Like, you have Clockwork Soul, right? The thing that, the prismatic augment that gives your whole team attack speed, right? You could play Jin Ori, play 4 Clockwork, and pop off with insane attack speed, or you could play Yone Fiora with 2 Clockwork, and it's totally fine too. Or splash in a Camille and Ori for support, and suddenly you can then put in a Janna and Yuumi, and holy shit, you've pivoted. There's so many different builds you can play with your augments, and the items carry over too. You're rolling for Jin, and instead you hit a Yone too. Dude, just sell the Jin, move the items, they convert perfectly. But holy shit, in this set, it really just is lock in your carry, pray that you hit, and just edge out small optimizations, and that's it. The better player just has a little bit more gold to roll. Right? Or the better player just like marginally saves HP with more efficient positioning. But like, it doesn't change the fact that at its core, if you don't hit, you just lose. Like, this game was like a thank God I hit. Deja was so contested, I rolled so early for it, and thank God I hit before everyone else did. Right? That was the only reason I was able to top 4 that game. Almost top 2. But like, I think to myself, like, am I having fun when I play? I'm definitely playing just because, like, I play it a lot. Like, I think I'm good at TFT. We're in, like, the top 25 on the ladder on the continent. I think we're pretty fucking good at TFT. But am I having fun? I feel like the answer is probably not. The amount of times where I say, all right, I know exactly how this game is going to play, and now I just hope that I hit. I feel like that's, like, 90% of games. Whereas, you know, to compare back to Set 6 again, I probably didn't know what I was playing in Set 6 until like 3/4 of the way through the game. I feel like at almost every point, there was like 3 different paths I could take to play the game. And it was up to me to decide through my shops and my augments and my items, which one was the most viable. It was like, you could play all of them, any of them, but some of them are slightly more efficient than others based on what your augments and items are. Do you take that Jin that has like perfect augments, or do you take the Yone 2 that's right in front of you right now? Yone was a 4-cost carry back then. He was very fun to play. There was a lot of cool decisions. This one's just like, oh boy, I hope I hit my SOJU. The game's already been decided. Knife's Edge, it's SOJU. There is literally no other comp you can play. Just pray that you fucking hit the SOJU too or lose. I've had so many games that are just decided by whether or not I hit my 4-cost carry or not, or my 7-cost carry. And don't get me wrong, like, sometimes I win, right? Today, my average placement was bad. You can see up here, my average placement was 5. Either I played like shit or I was extremely unlucky. The honest answer is probably a combination of both. I truly feel like the games were unlucky today. I truly feel like I rolled with good chances of hitting and I didn't hit. But you know what else? I also wake up 2 days later and I say, man, I was pretty tilted. And then sometimes we just gain all the LP back later. So I'm down to admit that I tilt like a tilt lord. I tilt like one of those marble puzzle games where you try to get them around the maze without dropping into the holes. I tilt all the time. I am very open to admitting that I tilt off the face of the earth today and probably blundered a lot of LP. I still adamantly stand by my belief that some of these games were truly unplayable. Variance is a huge factor of games. If you want a game with no variance, you should play chess. Chess has no variance. You will never get unlucky. The only way you could get unlucky is if you like face Magnus Carlsen on a Smurf account. Aside from that, everything is in your control. But you know what? It's not very fun. Well, to a lot of casual players who want exciting games. It's not very fun to them, right? In a game where your skill alone determines the outcome, bad players don't like it, which means only good players play, which means games are really hard, right? Casual players want a game where they can do whatever the fuck they want, whether it's, you know, force Yordles or force Shimmer Scale 9 every single game, and sometimes hit and win. Casual players really want that. A game that I really like is Smash Bros. I love Smash Bros. I also like their sister company, Bang Bros, although usually those videos are a little bit different. Smash Bros has almost zero RNG as well. Like, there's like very tiny elements of RNG, but for the most part, the better player wins like 99.9% of the time. And the problem with Smash Bros, like, if you ever played it as a casual player, like, I know all the tech. I know the modern tech. I am okay at executing it. I play Marth, and you know what happens? And whenever I face a better player, it's so hopeless that it's not even fun. And whenever I face someone I'm a lot better than, it's not fun either. Is it fun to just like style on people and land falcon punches and tippers? Up smash tipper, forward smash tipper over and over again, just wave dash into place, dash dance, chain grab. Is that fun? It's fun when you're almost equally skilled, but outside of that, it's not very fun because you already know the outcome of the game before you even start. It's only fun if you're like very close to within your skill range between you and your opponent. And that's because that is a game of like almost zero variance. Variance is a very important thing to have in video games. Otherwise, casual players will quit, and casual players make up like 95% of your player base. Set 6 had great casual appeal and great competitive appeal. Set 7, I think, has some pretty decent casual appeal, and that's it. I really don't think the competitive... Like, I think Mortdog and the dev team have to choose between, like, appealing to casuals, appealing to competitive. I saw a Mortdog post earlier that actually said... It was like a video. He basically said, like, traits like 8 Ragewing, or 9 Shimmer Scale, or 9 Jade, they're oftentimes traps. Like, it's a noob trap. When you get 9 Shimmer Scale, or you get 8 Ragewing, the trait lights up in platinum prismatic fashion, making you feel like you won the lottery. But why is it that if you want to play competitively, they're almost always the wrong choice? You play 8 Ragewing, that means you're playing a Set and a Senna, 2 dead units, whereas you could easily just have played 6 Ragewing, right? And then, like, the standard Guild Zai board, which is actually, like, 3 times better. But a casual player is thinking, oh my god, I want to light up the prismatic trait. And, like, they feel like that should be the winning move. He talks a lot about how balancing is difficult because the competitive player base wants something that is extremely different from what the casual player base wants. It is a very difficult, very Herculean task. And for a game that is so not solved like TFT, and like this genre is not very well researched yet, It's a very difficult task to do correctly on the first, second, third, even fourth try. I think the dev team does a pretty decent job, but I do find frustrations in this set. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, right. So what I was gonna say was, I think that they balance too much for the casual player. They put too many things that are fun for casual players. Scoped weapons Yone 3 with dual 630 Mirage is really fucking fun if you're a casual player. And if you're a casual player, you won't even realize that your opponent has it, and you won't even get upset. But me, like, I'm climbing for every single bit of LP I can get. When I see someone else hit scoped weapons and they already have a Yone 1, I tilt off the face of the earth. I think to myself, great, we're playing for second place. Like, I hate it. I hate games where you can't play for the win. In set 6, I would say the percentage of player, like the amount of time where the best player wins is pretty high. In set 7, I think the percentage is actually pretty low. I think as long as like there's not a ridiculous skill gap, the best player is usually like, or the winner is usually just like whoever high rolls their augment and plays around it. Maybe a little bit of variance based on like if someone gets like a sick out play like with a Shroud or a Zephyr. But in general, I feel like if I don't get augments that line up really well, don't even think about first place. Like the default is like, just hope I can top 4. But again, sorry for always going back to set 6. But in set 6, I truly felt like if I was the better player, I had a very good shot at first place every time. I felt like the placement that I got in set 6 was very like relative to my skill level compared to the rest of the lobby. It usually lined up. Whereas today, I got like 4 firsts and 4 eighths today. And what's really sad is going first 4 times and going eighth 4 times loses you 100 LP, by the way, at this rank. That's really sad. Like, in the games where I got first, I simply knew my win condition, played around it, and I hit. In the games where I went eighth, I knew my win condition, played around it, and didn't hit. I feel like I played both games with the exact same level of skill. But my placements are so wild because it just really depends on if you hit the augments. And there's only really like 4 viable builds, 5 viable builds. There have been many games where I just lost because I got contested. And then games where I didn't lose and got first place instead because I was completely uncontested. I know, like, you know, that's TFT, that's part of the game. But in set 6, again, sorry for always bringing it up. If you were contested on your Yone, you actually could just pivot. In set 7, if you're contested, oh boy, I better hope that I roll down first and hit. Your opponent gets think fast and high rolls your entire build in 1 turn, you lose the game. There was nothing you could have done. Sorry. You took Knife's Edge and you slammed an Edge of Night. There's literally nothing you can play other than Shu You Siphon here. You literally can't play anything else. You try to play Aoshin, you're griefing. Even if you got 3 Aoshins in your first shop at level 7, you would be griefing to play it. You slammed Knife's Edge and an Edge of Night, you have to hit the Shioyu or you lose the game. And this statement is true for almost every build in the game right now. Every top tier build, at least. You want to play Xayah? Well, you better fucking hope you hit Shyvana, because if you don't, there's nothing you can do. Shyvana 1 is like 50% of the team power. Your board spikes by 50% the moment you hit 1. And you could hit 1 as early as level 7. You could hit it as early as 10 gold into your level 8 roll down. You could hit it as early as never. Right? The only difference between the good and the bad player is that the good player has more chances of rolling for Shyvana. But you want to know what your percent chance of hitting a Shyvana is if you roll once? It's 2%. It's 2%. And when it's that low, you easily could go over 100 gold without hitting. Like, it happens. By the time you roll like 75 gold or so, you're expected to hit. But expected doesn't mean always. Anyway, thanks for listening to my little rant. I need to stop. It's 2 a.m. I'm really tired. I'm really tilted. If I play again, I'm probably going to just blunder the game away. I'm too tilted to think straight. These games have been incredibly frustrating. I want to just sit out and wait for set 8. PBE comes out in 2 weeks. These games were not it. When I win, I didn't even have fun. When I lose, I just feel mad. And let me make this very clear. This is a problem that mostly is only really a problem at the high rank, because I lost 150 LP today, maybe 160. And you know what's crazy? My average placement wasn't even that bad. If you place 4.9 average placement in a day, you're probably going to lose like 20 LP. That means like you went 5th place 1 or 2 times more than like, you know, the average, right? Today I went 1st, 8th, 1st, 8th, 1st, 8th, 2nd, 6th, 7th, 3rd, and it averaged to slightly below average, right? I had a below average day, but I lost 150 LP. And what's crazy is on the other days, I averaged 3.5 placement, which means most of my games were a 4th and some of them were a 3rd, right? Earlier days, I was 1st, 3rd, 6th, 1st, 2nd, 7th, 1st, and I lost LP anyway. This like casino style gameplay is just so frustrating when I have to win the lottery twice to make up for one game where I didn't hit the lottery. As someone who wants to climb, like, I don't expect to hit rank 1, obviously, but I would love to like see how close to rank 1 I could get. At my highest LP of like 1360, I was within 10 games of first place. 10 first places, obviously, but it's still kind of far, I know. But like, it'd be fun to try, but man, now I'm so far away, it's like just discouraging to even think about trying. Anyway. Thanks for listening to my little rant. And when I say little, I mean very large rant. I have so much frustration with this set. I like Mortdog, I like the dev team. I trust that they can fix the issues before set 8. Or, sorry, I trust that they can make set 8 a good set. I think this set is doomed. I would be very curious to see how regionals go, and not only like who wins, but how they feel about the games. Because I have a very big suspicion that everyone who loses at regionals is going to say the same thing. They're going to say they failed the RNG check and lost the game. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I think in previous worlds, you could usually, or regionals and worlds, you could usually say like, oh, like this guy was just like playing out of his mind. These players were just better. But I feel like a lot of people are going to be really salty this time, and they're going to be like, oh, like this guy just hit more. It was 6 games. I just got Mortdog 3 of them and I didn't get to play, kind of stuff. I think that's going to come out. The Twit Loner's going to be flying. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. I wouldn't say I'm going to just quit until the next set, because I also know that I chronically just get really bored and then turn on my stream. And then what else am I going to do? Play League of Legends for 2 weeks? Actually,